It's not because I'm traveling all around the Arctic Circle, Scandinavia. Not at all. The situation is frustrating. So, welcome to the U.S. Iran Confusion Cast. And I don't mean that sarcastically at all anymore. It literally is what's happening. Confusion apparently is important for everybody in their calculations on what's happening in the Middle East. So, welcome to the U.S. Iran Confusion Cast. Day 90 of the war. We have now been 3 months at war in this 4 to 6 week war. And as a matter of fact, I like that. Ken Shapir, who said that? Chris Shapar says, Dementia Cast. No, that's the second part of our show. The Dementia Cast. I'm writing that one down. Well, anyway, I'm Malcolm Nance. I am an extremely frustrated, exhausted, and confused individual who allegedly is running a podcast called the Black Man Spy Podcast, along with my co-host, Jacob Carsbo, who is hailing from Copenhagen, Denmark, Danish intelligence officer, Middle East expert extraordinaire. Then Wajeeh, the gay lion, hailing from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The three of us are trying to make sense of what's going on, not in the world. I'll just settle. The world would be relatively easier. I'm just trying to make sense of what's happening with this war that apparently has decided to start all over again, at least to the point where the United States deliberately attacked Iran, boats that were in Iranian waters. But we're going to get to that in a bit. First off, how you guys doing?
Good. I'm on my way to Oslo in about an hour. So, yeah, I'll be
What are you doing
going
there?
north as well. I have an appointment tomorrow morning for a big investment house where they need me to talk about what the hell is going on.
Charge them, baby. Charge them big money. Make charge the hell out of them. Because if you can answer that question, you're worth your money. Watch it. Hey, just lead them. Just make sure they think you know what you're talking.
Reducing uncertainty. I can't make anything calls for it. It's about reducing uncertainty.
Yeah, okay. Waj, what are you up to, man?
Good. I had an amazing Memorial Day. Went on a really good hike with one hand. But it was, yeah, I just got one hand, but gotta figure
your shoulder.
it.
Eyes broke.
But yeah, it was worth every minute. But I came back sore, but needed it. It was Memorial Day and needed to do something.
Okay.
Well,
good. Well, you guys will be happy to know that Kissy Face just sent us a big mwah. So right back at you, Kissy Face. We're her number one super spooks. And I flew in last night from Greenland. It was very bittersweet because I love all the people we know in Greenland. And I had to check out early. So, sitting around all day. And then flew out here to Iceland, where we shifted 1 hour early. It's 1 p.m. here. And got here at midnight. Got to the car rental at like 1 a.m. Because they have to come get you. And then drove to Reykjavik, which is where I am right now. Drove to Reykjavik and finally checked into the hotel at almost 2 a.m. So, which is fine because, like Greenland, it's midnight sun. Although it wasn't as bad as it was in Greenland. In Greenland, if I put this out here right now, right, see this reverse, see the sunlight here? That's Greenland at 1 a.m. Okay. This it gets a little dark, right? It's like sunset-ish, like the way it feels at 7 or 8 in a summer evening, right? And then, but in Greenland, it's like 30-minute sunset, and it's sunset. It's like the sky, the sun doesn't even go past the mountains. Just sort of sits there for a minute and then just starts rising again. So I could drive because, even though there were clouds here, it was pretty bright. I mean, it was pretty bright at 1 in the morning. So
I would
drove
hate to
here to
have
Reykjavik.
Ramadan over there.
What's that?
I said I would hate to have Ramadan over there.
There's no Ramadan. Ramadan, you
Yeah.
close the curtains at 6:30 in the evening and you press the button. Do you have one of those little clocks? I have a little call to prayers clock that I've had forever. I bought it in Bahrain like 20 years ago. Cheap Chinese call to prayers clock. And you set it, and 5 times a day it'll do the muezzin. You're like, oh, Allahu Akbar. And that's what you need. You need a Ramadan days overclock, right? Close the curtains and go, look, sunset. And then have your food. So,
I can tell you
elbows
what,
up
it's
from
bad enough
Canada.
for the Muslims in Denmark in summer because,
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
it's like from 4 a.m. until 11 p.m. At night. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough.
Grampus wrote, Malcolm, Iceland's great. I spent a week here in Keflavik doing KC-130 engine swap. That's a Marine Corps transport refueling aircraft. Damn, it was cold. We did this in wintertime. I will tell you something about the quality of the cold here. Wow, we reached 1,000 people relatively fast. The quality of the cold here is that here it is ocean cold. It is moisture off the ocean, and you can feel it. In Greenland, every bit of cold in Greenland it was like you were in a refrigerator. It's cold air off a 1,000-mile long glacier that's 1 mile deep of ice. So whatever, it's like, oh, ocean air. Not at all. Two different types of cold. I can put up with the Greenland cold better than the Keflavik cold or the Reykjavik cold because here it's moist and it gets into your bones and you just want to hold a hot fucking tea all the time. Right? So somebody says, greetings from Aarhus.
Aarhus, yes. They're the national champions in soccer in Denmark. So, yeah, they were partying for a week over there. I
Yeah.
hope our viewer here is sober. But
Yeah. Okay. What did he say? But I took some courses in Iceland. So let's move on
okay,
because
let's go.
we jumped up to 1,000 in less than 6 minutes. So that means people are waiting because things are happening. First thing I want to point out to you is, yes, it is Purple Taco Tuesday. Taco Bell extraordinaire. I'm going to start wearing purple every Tuesday to signify that it ain't red, it ain't blue, it's purple. Trump can't make up his goddamn mind because, as we predicted, that Trump on Friday threatened war. Then on Saturday was like, we're minutes away from peace. And we all predicted that Monday or Tuesday there would be some sort of military escalation that would bring oil back over $100. Now, I don't know if it's bounced yet because the markets are just barely opening in the United States. Wajeeh, what's the price of oil?
Actually dropped $3.90, making it $92.63 for the
Which kind of oil? Is this
WTI.
West Texas Intermediate?
WTI. Yep.
WTI. Okay. Brent?
Here I got
I
it
know it's.
already.
Oh, no, you can just read it to us. That's fine. We believe you. Okay. And
The
Brent's
Brent-
down to 98. Listen,
Yep.
pay no attention to that. The market just opened 12 minutes ago. All right. Here's why. The United States last night, while I was on Mario Naufal's show, literally, he goes, Malcolm, we're getting reports of loud noises over Kishem Island. And I was said there was a report that they shot down a drone earlier in the day while we were on. Thank you. Kishem Island is that shark-shaped island. We talked about this yesterday. And I said, well, we probably are running drones over it and broke the coast. And they were like, good enough for us. And they shot it down or shot at it. No problem. 3, 2, 1. Several hours later, at what was 3 in the morning over there, while I was on this show, they said we're getting a lot of reports of explosions at Jask, which is way in the Indian Ocean, Bandar Jask, Sirik, which is in the eastern, that's Bandar Jask over there, Sirik, which is just to the right of Lavan Island, Larak Island. Show Larak Island. Now go to the right to the coast. To the right, that's Sirik. That's an IRGC underground tunnel center. Bandar Abbas, Bandar Abbas is up north of that. And then
Right here.
Kishem Island. There were explosions and reports of bombing in all of those locations. And I said to Mario, I go, apparently the United States has seen something they don't like, and they started attacking. But it was most likely a pre-planned attack package. And here's how I think things went. There are two factions in Washington now. There's the Hegseth Rubio attack and Lindsey Graham attack Iran faction to show you're strong. And then there is the Jared Kushner Witkoff, hey, let's go get our money faction of let's buy real estate. And then on the opposite side, and, well, by the way, who are aligned with the Gulf states, Rubio, Graham, Hegseth are aligned with Netanyahu. And so Trump, of course, knows something exciting has to happen before the markets open so that all the people that made their money on the dip of oil on Saturday, Sunday, and early Monday are now about to sell that oil on the way up and make a shitload of money. How many weeks has this happened? Every freaking week since the ceasefire, which is now in like 40 some odd, 50 days almost. This is real market manipulation. But the way that the strikes took place, according to what they said, which, by the way, Iran is correct, those attacks are a violation of the ceasefire. The ceasefire has been broken, and technically, Iran can go back to full-scale war today. So what the story is that Iran, supposedly, the U.S. Navy observed small boats loading sea mines into them. And the United States preemptively sank both of those boats. But somehow, using a pre-packaged target set, went all the way from the east, all the way around the Strait of Hormuz, and bombed every air defense site, missile site. This is called a pre-planned package. And you can't, if you want to bomb the fucking boats, you just hit the two boats and go have a coffee, right? No, they went to pre-planned package alpha. Whatever was at the top of the list, they pressed the button, everybody flew, and it was their last chance to get in. This is a Hegseth activity. He must have convinced Trump, we have to hit them. It'll make you look strong in the negotiations. But what happens when you shoot in the Strait of fucking Hormuz on a business day? Nobody gets insured. Fighting has resumed in the Persian Gulf. What the absolute fuck?
Yeah. And the distance that they covered in these strikes is around about 400 kilometers.
Yeah. These things weren't geographically right next to each other.
400 kilometers along the coast.
Hit Jask, hit Sirik, hit Bandar Abbas, hit Kishem Island. They hit fucking Larak Island. I think that they told Trump there are small boats out there. They're doing things that we don't like. Let's just hit them. And then they say, across the board, we have to hit all of the air defense sites because we can't just go in there and hit them. You could have done this shit with fucking drones, right? You could have sent an email, right? This could have been an email. So,
Yeah.
nope. Now Iran is saying the ceasefire is broken. And they're saying they ain't coming to the table, which fulfills Benjamin Netanyahu's goal, but not to make it easy. Okay, first, I need to take a pause because I'm pretty angry this morning. God damn, what coffee cups do you guys have? We missed that part of the show because I have a special treat for you.
I have the CIA cup.
CIA cup. And which?
Analyst 5.
All right. And Waj is drinking one of his craft cups.
Yes.
Well, to refresh myself, I have acquired a cup that I'm going to give away at some point to one of our paid subscribers because I'm starting to rack up coffee cups from all these places I'm going to. So I'm going to start giving cups away. Here's my mug today.
Listen.
This is a puffin,
Excellent.
which is the symbol of Iceland. Everywhere are these freaking puffin bird mugs. And so I'm drinking sparkling water from a puffin mug. I should be drinking this bottle of gin that I got from Greenland that's sitting in front of me because here we were thinking that this whole thing was coming to a negotiation, coming to an end. And sure as shit, this is what happens. We fucking attacked them.
Yeah. And since
Help
then,
me.
the Iranians have been shooting back. This morning, they've been trying allegedly to hit U.S. Planes around the strait. I don't think they've hit anything, but
I'm sure they haven't.
But there's been action going on, and then the big, unknown is when will they start to attack the UAE again? That's
That was
the
going to be my
main. Yeah,
the,
exactly.
the
That's the
easiest
main
thing for
scenario.
them. The easiest thing for them is just to start attacking Gulf states. That's just the easiest target. The harder target is the ships.
I think at this point, the Iranians are going to play the adult in the room. And I said this on Mario's show. I said the Iranians are not going to respond to this except in the most fundamental way, which is basic air defense. But they said that they attacked 2 boats, sank 2 boats with 4 crew on board, which they were small craft. They were not big organized mine layers. Before we go any further, guys, there is a questions thread up on Substack. You'll see it. U.S. Iran Confusion Cast, day 90 warish. Ask your questions there. So put your questions there related to this. So now Trump did what he said he would do, but he didn't say it would be bigger, better, stronger, more good looking, right? U.S. attacks on Iran. This satisfies Hegseth. It satisfies Rubio. It makes it look like they are strong. Remember how we said it's like one of those little baby chimps, right? He pounds his chest, and the next thing you know, he takes the banana out of your hand. So, these are the sort of thing, it's posturing of the worst sort. The problem is this thing was a strike package that was ready to go and has been sitting every day, every hour, ready to shoot. And now, when that happened, it is no coinkydink. You know what I say about coincidence? Coincidence takes a lot of planning. At the exact same time, Israel launches massive strikes all across Lebanon. Oh, but wait, Malcolm, they said that they were just going to fight Hezbollah south of the Litani and they had a right to defensive operations. No. While the U.S. was attacking in the Strait of Hormuz, Israel fucking blitzed the entire infrastructure of Hezbollah, principally in the Bekaa Valley, where Jacob is pointing right now. The Bekaa Valley around Beirut and everything south of Beirut.
Beirut is up here. So it's this area down here along the Litani also that starts up in the mountains right here.
My notes here under significant activities is Israel moves to destroy the peace agreement, right? Because here's another thing. You don't just wake up and go, hey guys, go up in the Bekaa Valley and hit 100 targets simultaneously, right? No. This takes a lot of pre-planning. All of the aircraft have to have the right bombs, the right missiles put in there. Combat air patrol can, flight schedules have to be done. Guys got to at least have 20 minutes to put on their flight suits and get a cup of coffee, right? So this wasn't something they just said, ooh, the Litani, Bekaa Valley has storage bases. Let's blow it up now. They've known about these storage bases since I was 19 and Hezbollah started on the face. I remember the fucking day Hezbollah started. So this has been known forever. This is Netanyahu declaring that Lebanon will not be part of the peace process. And fuck you, Trump, if you think you're getting an agreement with these Arabs or the Persians and you're going to screw us, because all yesterday, Ben Gavir and others in the Likud party, the Likudniks, the hardcore right, have been saying this agreement, as we've learned about with Iran, is a fucking disaster for Israel. And here's the word they use: would make Trump a loser. Talk about it, guys.
And even Netanyahu this morning went on TV and says, this is the moment where we have to destroy Hezbollah. So, they've got everything set. And the big question is, what will Iran do? Because they're not going to sit back and let this happen. So there is definitely escalation potential here. Because that's going to blow up somehow.
Well,
Wajeeh, what are you saying?
No one can convince me that all of this action is going to scare Iran away from pursuing a nuclear bomb. All of this is pushing Iran toward accelerating as soon as possible to bringing something together. The faster, the better. And today, the supreme leader said that his fatwa that it's absolutely not allowed for us to destroy or sell any of our highly enriched uranium. That that's it. Like that is his red line. It's not going to move anyway. So what that tells me is that they're just running full speed ahead at this point to achieve a nuclear weapon, and any acts like this is only going to increase that willingness, because the trust is not there, and they believe that the only way to gain that respect, not trust, gain that respect, is by having that power. And all of these actions continue to push it that way. That's all I have to say.
Okay, there's a boatload going on here this morning, peoples. I'm glad I'm wearing purple, because purple is my happy color when I'm mountain climbing and all that stuff. And today I'm up and down. I'm in the middle of Reykjavik and this Middle East. I'm sorry. We've been at this for 90 days, and it is equally a shit show on day 90 as it was. The only difference between it now and day one is that I know what's going to happen now. Okay, there's no in between because of all the fighting that's going on before. If this war were to restart today, I know everything that's going to happen. It's happened. There's nothing more that can happen. Everything that hasn't happened that is impactful is political, all political. So Netanyahu has clearly decided, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, the funny thing is when I came to Greenland last year, I bought I bought Orlo Jolson these FDT hats. Right? It's an FDT, right? Fuck Donald Trump hats, and gave them to his friends. And and I also brought him a flag that said, "This is FAFO country," right? Fuck around, find out country. God, I'm really starting to think that Netanyahu's wearing that hat and that he's hanging that flag out in front of the goddamn Knesset.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it, it, I'm an ally of Israel, but right now my patience is being tested. If I was on the National Security Council staff, right, and somebody were to say, Malcolm, the National Security Advisor would like your opinion, it's like, get on the phone with the president, right, and tell him, you need to stop your bullshit. I'm saying this as a friend, but I know what you're doing. And it's very clear this is designed to end the peace process. They want full
Yeah.
scale war to start out again. And it's like, you come here and Netanyahu's wearing a fuck Donald Trump hat. Fuck them
Yeah.
kids, right? That's what he's thinking about this whole process. And he would be pleased as punch if the Gulf states got hit right now.
Yeah.
Because he would be, and this is a weird psychology that you have a leader of Israel thinking that he can dictate to the Gulf Arabs, right? Look at how we dismantled Hamas. Look at how we dismantled Iran. We dismantled Syria. We dismantled Lebanon. Bend to our power. Right? And he really thinks they're stupid enough to build a pipeline up there. They're stupid enough to sign the Abraham Accord and naturalize relations with him. It's somebody says, Thomas Day says, Malcolm, we aren't an ally technically, but I think it's time to rethink the relationship. And
Yeah.
I don't think that Israeli kids should be going to Lebanon right now and fighting when all of this shit could lead to peace and everybody could get back to their business. But Hegseth must have fucking called him or whatever. Somebody put a hint through the chief of staff of the IDF saying, hey, we're about to fucking do Lebanon big. And somebody calls Central Command and says, hey, I'm looking at this report, an imagery report of these small boats. Hit them motherfuckers. We hit in this SOH simultaneously as Israel essentially blankets Lebanon. Coincidence takes a
Yeah.
lot of planning, and clearly the strike planning cells were working together. Twice we have had incidents where the United States attacked in the SOH and the Israelis attacked somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We basically gave Israel the cover for this attack by us going and attacking Iran and in the Strait of Hormuz and in other places. We literally gave Israel the green light to go and attack and Hezbollah. Like, whether we want to admit it or not, like the United States and our Trump administration, our supreme leader, His Majesty, when he's making a decision like this, he does not know how to stand against Israel. He doesn't know how to stand against Netanyahu, and he doesn't have the balls to, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because every time we've inched to get to a peace talk, I've said this since day one, Israel is the one that we need to figure out how to control, because if we can't control Israel, None of the peace talks can happen.
Mm. But then
Okay.
the big question is, what will the Iranians do? Because they had very much approved ability to strike directly at Israel also. So there will something will happen. I can't say exactly what. And will they also return to striking the UAE? We have to,
No.
just remember a few days back how the dialogue between the Arab country, between the Gulf countries and Iran improved because they wanted calm and stability. So as you said, Malcolm, that gave Iran a good way in, and that's probably why there's a chance the Iranians will hold back for now, but they will escalate somehow. They will find something. So, what might that be?
Well,
We will reserve our right to respond at the time and
A place of our choosing.
like choosing.
yeah. Okay. As if things could not get bad enough with Israel, while we were sleeping in the last 2 hours, Minister Ben Gavir, and you know that shit's going to be bad, whatever I say next, right? Anytime I say the phrase, right, that their minister, Ben Gavir, their defense minister, this guy is a right wing, practically QAnon nut. I'm saying that professionally. If I had to write this up in an analysis, I would say the level of extremism from him borders on pathological. He is almost single-handedly responsible for the accusations of genocide. I am not a believer that there's a genocide going on in Palestine, but this guy would really like there for one to be, right?
Yeah.
Now, if now Donald Trump saying that we should get rid of 2 million people in Gaza, that's genocide. Ethnically cleansing a population in order to hurt them, that's genocide. Then when that happens, I'll be up there with my big G sign because I've been around. Genocide technically is the intentional elimination of a population. There's not 2 million people dead in Gaza, for those of you who want to be there. And I've been there on both sides. So, well, I'll be technical about that. The Israelis were there when I was in that area. So, however, Ben Kavir would really like there to be one. This
Yeah.
guy is a believer in the greater Israel theory, and it's like putting QAnon nutcases in charge of America, which we have done. So Ben Gavir, okay, so now I'm going to get back to what I was saying. I'm so glad I'm wearing purple because I need to feel happy because I'm dealing around with the fucking idiots now. Ben Gavir just said, we need to cut the electricity to all of Lebanon. He wants a campaign to destroy all power plants. I'm certain he means except in one place. Can anybody name that place in Lebanon that he's thinking? There's a power plant there. I know it well. Junia. Junia is north of Beirut, and it is the heart and center of the Lebanese Christians, right? So he's talking about blacking out Lebanon, except for, of course, the one set of Christians that he likes. Is he out of his fucking mind? Does he work? What the hell? I'm not thinking of, okay, power goes off in Lebanon. Nobody can make fucking baklava, right? They can still make bread. But the point is, this is genocidal thinking, right? He wants to reduce them to fundamentals. And it's
But it's
like,
the
what?
same rhetoric when Trump talks about Iran.
I need my
It's
puffin.
this,
I need to drink from my
yeah,
puffin.
it's the same insane rhetoric.
That
Trump has said that about Iran many times.
that gin
That is
bomb's looking really good.
that is exactly the simple thinking, the simple decision making of what I call in the scientific terms Orientalist decision making, where people
Oh
make
wait,
decisions believing that they know that solution is the only solution out there, and not wanting to actually look at the problem, bring up a complicated solution fit to the complicated problem that they have created. They're only making it harder to fix a problem that should be easier to fix than a stupid decision like that. In Arabic, we call it you're adding water to the mud and you're only making it harder.
okay, somebody is challenging me. Genocidal thinking. Come on, dude. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be frank with you because I know some of you guys will be shocked that there are a lot of supporters of Israel here. I'm a supporter of Israel. When you read my memoir next year, you're going to be floored. The first chapter is how I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, right? Young Catholic kid. First foreign language I ever learned was Yiddish. First decrypt of a code I ever did was Hebrew to Yiddish. Okay, it set me on my career. The problem is there were a lot of people, these governments are going to extremes. And I remember the day I saw Israel flip, which was in 1989. And the reason that Israel started pushing really insanely hard to the right is because large numbers of Russians were allowed to emigrate to Israel. I always tell this story. I remember being in Israel and it was just beautiful. I used to go to Haifa all the time. Our ships would pull in there. I had a girlfriend in Haifa. And then I remember about 6 months after the large Russian emigration came, was the first time I saw prostitutes on the street. And I was like, that's very interesting. Where did this come from? And my girlfriend goes, Russians, right? Then I go on a port visit to Ashdod and somebody throws a hand grenade into the discotheque next to ours. And they were like, terrorist attack. And the police were like, no, no, Russian mafia fighting each other. I mean, something in the fabric changed. You know what I'm saying? So, it was full of little old ladies and nice people walking around. Suddenly there were gang fights, AK-40, gun battles between Russian mafiosi and that were equal to the terrorists. It's just that I know where the terrorists come from. I can't figure out that. So a lot of those people were very hard right extremists and very ultra nationalists and insanely colonists. They all believe in wiping out the West Bank and turning it into a colony. That being said, America needs to think about America, right? What happened to America first, right? Your friends are your friends, but it's your job to be frank and honest with your friends. I had a friend of mine just today. He's an international legionnaire, wanted to borrow a shitload of money. He was going to borrow a shitload of money from his family to do something that he thought was a good investment. I called him this morning. I go, I am your friend. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Don't do it. It's a scam, right? That's how friends talk to each other. The problem with Israel is that in this administration, they can do no wrong. But now we're getting fucked over it. The global economy's teetering on the edge, and Trump is going to have to decide which side he's on. Because now I suspect with these battles will not lead to the end of this goddamn war. There won't be any vacations for us until August. And Iran can take it. The rest of the world can't. What do you guys say?
No, that's true. I mean, because the Iranian card that they will play once again is to increase the global energy crisis, and it won't go away regardless of what Bibi does and what Trump does, etc. So the Iranians will sit back, sip some more tea, and say, "Well, bad luck."
Yeah. All right. Wow. So now that I like the way that they're putting it in the media, now that there are two fucking separate wars going on, the U.S. military attacking the Iranians, and then you have Israel attacking Lebanon, both of which are hard red lines for this. I like the way they put it. The chance of a deal gets murkier. Are you sure? Murky like mud?
Yeah,
Murky like mud.
very, very murky.
My favorite comment yesterday, and we're going to go to questions. Oh, I do have another couple of points. My favorite comment yesterday was there was an entire chain of jokes about having something 95% done. And one of them was this guy says, I don't remember the name of the model, but it was some supermodel, and he goes, "I am 95%." Uh, um, he says, "I'm 95% married with this fast supermodel, and the only thing that is left to explore is me meeting her, actually talking to her, making a proposal, and then getting married." Right? This is exactly so all these 95% jokes came up. Another guy goes, "I'm 95% ready to buy this Mercedes Benz. I just need to figure out which model, what year, what options it has inside, what price we're going to pay, and if I have the money." That's what's going on with the Iran deal. That's the Iran deal. We're 95% there. And someone jokingly just said,
95.
no, we're 95.25% there now. Oh, Jesus. So that's it. The only other thing I have on there is that Oman and China are actively in support of the administrative surcharge. That's what analyst Michael Weiss called it, the mafia administrative surcharge, or the environmental toll, or the
The
security toll.
security premium.
Security premium. You make it sound like it's a gold card. But the Omanis and the Chinese tacitly support this. And that's why
Yeah.
it's moved so fast. The Omanis have said, wait, 80 billion a year free? Just it shows up? And they were like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
2 months ago, the Omanis weren't buying this. Now they're like, hey, this is not a bad idea.
And it's
I
our
said
territorial
yesterday.
waters and it's Iranian territorial waters, so it's simple.
What did I tell you guys yesterday? I said the Omanis will be like the Iranians insisted. We said no, but the Iranians kept saying you have to, otherwise we will not let any ship pass. And then
Look, it's as simple as this. Look, Donald, this money fell off a truck in front of our central bank. $80 billion. I'm not going to give it back. When the rightful owners come, I will give it back. Let's go to questions, gentlemen, and we can get you off to Oslo. All right. Wow, 41. Okay. It said, should we all go in on the predictions market and start betting on the things you tell us? You will be making some money. The problem is everyone's figured it out. Everyone has figured this game out. Will energy grid go down because of this war? This is Margaret Kelly. Lots of conspiracy rumors floating all night. Not the U.S. energy grid. The only energy grid that'll collapse is Texas because it sucks, and it's always sucks. Steve Bubs Melega also figured this out. What's BB involvement in the actions last night? He's stirring the pot with Trump constantly. Toothpicker says, I love this show, even when I travel. Good, because you can watch tomorrow's show, because I'll be at 33,000 feet going quietly, making commentary, listening to these two guys, then jumping in when I can't take it anymore.
I'll try to be
So,
back by 3 p.m. local time from Oslo. I
he's
think
telling
I am.
us we're going to,
I think
is
I am.
Wajeeh going to be, is Wajeeh going to be doing, just go on audio only if you have.
Yeah, but I think I'll almost make it.
I will literally be over the North Atlantic. You can make it. But U.S. and Israel has killed thousands of civilians. We don't have a good rationale for the war. How can we argue proportionality under law of armed conflict to justify those deaths? That's from Malakapolis. We can't. And the thing is, we've thrown proportionality out the window. Hegseth's speech at West Point essentially said you can kill anyone you want when you want. Right? We are in a bad place. That guy's got to go to the fucking Hague.
Yeah.
All right. Between you, me, and the fence post.
I mean, this administration doesn't care about laws of war. You know, it doesn't matter.
Robert Bender says, when we're going to see our coincidence takes a lot of planning t-shirts and mugs. It's in the works. Merch is in the works. I have reached my limit. I have been saying this for 10 years. Merch is coming because I want a t-shirt that says coincidence takes a lot of planning. Black man spot. Let me see. This is Chotio.
Those spectacular penetrations on the merch.
That's another one, right? Gotta love spectacular penetrations. Okay, Bibi is not going to allow the U.S. to just walk away. They will antagonize Hezbollah until Iran responds. Iran wants to keep the status quo in the meantime, build a nuke as fast as possible. You know, we talked about this a long time ago, before this show went to war, that Iran could build a nuke right now. They have enough material, but they would have enough for one, and it would be the size of a pickup, not a pickup truck. It'd be the size of a truck. But they could build a World War II grade 19, 20 kiloton bomb right now. The university students can do it. But that would be it, right? You got to expect Israel would be sending one back. So they wouldn't send, Iran would just could detonate it in the Baluch desert to demonstrate they have the ability. But you better have 5 more fucking built and on missiles before you do any stupid shit like that. Is Israel dependent on oil and liquid natural gas? No. The LNG fields off of northern Israel, the oil fields off northern Israel, off the natural gas fields off of Gaza are already being exploited. That comes down to the to the refinery at Ashkelon, the gas plant at Ashkelon. So no, they're not dependent on that. But everyone needs more power, right? Everyone needs more oil. So I won't say that definitively, but they produce a lot. How long does Israel last without U.S. funding? According to Greg, I don't know, 50, 100 more years. Look, Israel is about themselves. That country is self-sufficient, right? What we're giving them is political cover to do things that they shouldn't be doing, that we wouldn't tolerate from France, we wouldn't tolerate it from Belgium, right? We're not being good friends here.
We're also
What we
giving
had,
them a lot of free weapons, honestly.
yeah, well, I think they should start paying. I heard yesterday that Netanyahu wants us to start charging for the weapons so that it would give him deniability that Israel is in the United States pocket.
For
Jack
Taiwan, it
Pratt
isn't
says,
even enough to pay. I mean, they even cancel, contracts under payment for Taiwan. So look out, Israel.
yes. All right. So Susan J. challenges me on genocide. Yes, there are deaths. I have been in every Middle East war except this one, thank God. Uh, Genocide is a very focused thing. I have spoken at Auschwitz twice. I went to a conference called Never Again, really, where they had survivors of genocide of World War II, Cambodia, Uganda. I've read in a lot about genocide. Genocide's one of those things you really cannot just use a common belief. You really have to study it and just, people have said it, but genocide is about intent. Israel had more than enough capability to wipe out 2 million Palestinians. Let's just be honest, folks.
And
But
I will say also, Malcolm, a lot of the rhetoric, signals an intent, but we haven't seen it carried out. I mean,
from
about
individuals, look,
proportionality, etc. There's
Ben,
no doubt
Ben,
that's
Ben
gone
Gavir,
way too.
Ben Gavir can make comments, but I've already had the president of the United States threaten genocide in a fucking public statement about wiping out the Persian civilization.
Yeah.
So, and we have the capacity to do it in 23 minutes. So let's just be honest here. Okay. Let's not fight over this. It's important that we, as a collective body of geopolitical experts and people who have a vested interest in this on the Black Man Spy podcast, understand that this is all part of a swirling circle of decision making and that we can't separate ourselves. Because I lost a whole shitload of people over me being on the Michael Cohen podcast. I lost 1,000 people when I interviewed Jake Tapper for the Black Man Spy podcast. You can't shoot yourself in the foot just because of one issue. You got to learn what's out there. Somebody says I'll be at 33,000 feet getting yelled at by stewardesses again. Most likely. But Brent prices jumped.
Live streaming.
Somebody says Brent prices have jumped 3% after Iran vows to retaliate for U.S. strikes. Let's see what happens this afternoon. Right by the time. Hey, Wajeeh, Azari Bibi needs to go on to your question and answer because they have a very involved question you need to answer. Can you explain the current positions, love, hate, neutral of all the GCC states versus their partner, the United States? Bring that up on his podcast next and ask him that question. Somebody says, Chief, I had mentioned, this is from Rue, who's one of my favorite characters. I had mentioned a while back on one of your posts that one of these series I work on here on Substack was my Jewish ethnic diversity series. I'm currently working on the newest iteration. I started because of people's misunderstandings, the prevalence of conspiracy theories, and the likes of those who clapped at the assassination of Rabin. I will say, after working on communities tied to the old Persian Empire that got eaten by the Russian Empire, they experienced some serious problems between the czars and the Soviets. Haven't gone over the communities from the Pale Settlement and Russia properly, but I'm expected for a wild ride. Yeah, Rue, jump on the modern Russians and involvement in modern Israel and see. I, I'm only going over 30 years of what I've seen. And I remember that night when I saw prostitutes walk the street, hookers. The only thing they didn't have was a fire in a 55-gallon drum to warm their hands over. But I realized something fundamental in Israel had changed to where, with the introduction of the Russians. Then those guys went into the IDF, lot of trouble. So anyway, and then even worse, you have Americans who are over there who are the worst. So I had an American spit on me when I was at the Wailing Wall. American emigre, right? Should have slapped his ass down, but there were a lot of armed men there. Okay, but so not genocide, but probably a pogrom. Well, pretty good one. All right, guys, that's it. I got to get Jacob off to Oslo, Norway.
Oslo.
I, for one, need to have lunch. I haven't even had breakfast. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please come over to malcolmnance.substack.com and subscribe and become a free subscriber. Trying to get to 100,000, drop down to 95. So you guys need to recommend to your friends to come to the Black Man Spy podcast. Listen to Jacob, listen to Wajeeh. We all have a lot of expertise here, but as things get crazier, you know what Trump's going to do. By tomorrow, he's going to say, we're going to sign it tomorrow. By the way, is it any coincidence that Trump is in the hospital today?
Right? And it's like what?
Is he?
There's like 6 annual
Getting a
health
checkup.
checkup. 6 annual health checkup. Like how many annual health checkups do you have a year?
Third annual this year. Look, okay.
Oh.
All right, guys, thanks for coming. I will see you tomorrow at 33,000 feet. The thread of questions is open. I will answer those. If you see them, I do go through them during the day. All right. Take care. See you all later.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.